You know, as a short woman, it's very fun that I am a couple of different events boogeyman.
That's it. That's my intro.
Hey, I'm Amanda, you're watching Swell Entertainment, and today we are talking about VidCon. Yes, I did go. I went for exactly one day, a whopping 4 hours before my jet lag from France decided to grab me by the stomach and back of my neck and decided I was done. It kidnapped me, fully removed me from the situation. But I do think that was enough. This is my experience with buying a pass to go to VidCon. I will always review not only my experience, but the attendee experience. I had a lot of friends that were feature creators or invited guests this year or full access badges this year. Also, they had a really great time. That's cool. They're not going to have the same experience that I would have as a badge holder or the experience that other people that were creator or community or industry badge holders came and told me about. I wanted to make that note. Their experience is valid, and I don't want you to be like, well, Swell said it was awful on anything that they said they had a good time. Their experience is valid. They won. They had a better experience. The end. But I'm always going to review, again, the attendee experience, and that's the experience that I got, which honestly, this was probably better this year. We'll, go, and then either I will be someone's +1, brand will invite me to their parties and things like that, okay? But this year, I wasn't even sure I was going to be able to make it to VidCon because I went to Cannes Lions instead, which was my plan last year. I shared that in my VidCon review last year because I was severely depressed at VidCon last year. It stressed me out so much. It was depressing. It was weird. But the problem is that I'm nosy and insane. So even though I knew I was going to go to Cannes Lions, when I realized that my flight would get me in Friday night of the same weekend as VidCon, I, of course, could not turn off my video brain and decided I need to go see what VidCon would be like under the new owners of VidCon. For those of you who don't know, right before VidCon last year, VidCon had been bought from Viacom by another company called Informa. My understanding is that the sale had gone through prior to the event happening last year, but they did not announce it until after VidCon had finished. So a lot of us were speculating about what company it was and things like that last year. And then not long after, they actually ended up canceling Baltimore VidCon, which many of my friends DM'd me or messaged me and said, you did this when that was shared. I don't think I did anything, truly. And then this year, I knew my team wasn't even trying to do anything with VidCon, even if I had been invited, which I knew I wouldn't be. I had plans to go to Cannes Lions, and then that's obviously what I ended up doing. For those of you that don't know, last year, what happened is that VidCon actually moved its dates, because in 2023, there was a lot of creators that went to Cannes Lions instead of VidCon. Now, Cannes Lions has been going on for 50 years, way longer than VidCon has been a thing, but in the last couple of years, they have really been emphasizing the creator element at Cannes Lions because they acknowledge the marketing powerhouse that is creators, and now to the point that Cannes Lions has a creator badge, which is what I use this year, which is one of the reasons that part of this video is going to be me talking about which one I think is worth it for you as a creator, okay? As far as buying a badge, pros and cons of each for a creator perspective, but that'll be towards the end. But that was 2023. A lot of creators chose one or the other, okay? In 2024, VidCon moved their dates a whole week later so that there was no overlap between Cannes Lions and VidCon. A lot of creators did both. Some decided that they would do one or the other because shockingly, not shocking to me because I'm born and raised in Southern California, going to Anaheim, California and going to Cannes, France, the cost is not shockingly different depending on where in the world or the country you are flying in from, especially if you're doing hotels, Airbnbs, etc. That played a role for a lot of people's decisions last year, but it gave people the ability to do both. This year, like I said, they moved it all back to where it initially was, which I was like, interesting. I talked to a lot of creators at Cannes Lions that normally do both that said that they were not doing VidCon for the explicit purpose of the fact that they were, one, getting the full red carpet experience at Cannes Lions, but also because normally they would, but the dates just aren't going to work out and it's exhausting, okay? They were shocked I was doing both. That being said as well, I somehow managed to convince myself that VidCon has had a thing on Sunday for the last couple of years. I was confirmed by a friend of mine that used to work at VidCon that they have never had anything on a Sunday. And if there was anything on a Sunday, it was done by a brand or it was like a Disney day or things like that. That's a problem in and of itself. Okay, it's bad that I just convinced myself that there was a Sunday thing for VidCon. But now that I've thought about it more, I do think this is a horrible decision from the planning of VidCon. You guys need to, you're a convention. Be open on a Sunday. What are we doing? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday? That's it? It's always been like that? That's stupid. I'm sorry. That's so stupid, especially if you have a fan element. People have jobs. That's why people thought I was insane. They were like, you're going to do all this for one day? It was more surprising to me when I saw this. Now, I believe this was mentioned in the published press. I just screenshotted this. FYI, in 2024, Paramount sold VidCon to Informa, the same company that owns Cannes Lions. I did not know that. That paints a very interesting picture as for why they moved the events back. Not to say that these two things are related, but it definitely is interesting when, you know, they're growing their creator badge over at Cannes Lions, and then VidCon, they're making it a little more difficult for creators to do both. I'm just saying. Interesting moving of dates with that information in mind. That kind of just paints a picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, interesting choices. I overall give VidCon max 3 years. I did talk to some people who were involved as sponsors that thought that was generous. But let's talk about VidCon. I bought my ticket very last minute for the creator badge, which was genuinely shocking to me. I think I bought it like Wednesday or Thursday when I was in France. So it's about 9 hours ahead in France than it is here in LA. So something to keep in mind. But I did think it was interesting that I was able to get a creator badge that late in the game. My team reached out and was like, hey, Amanda might be able to make it. Do you guys want to give her an invited guest badge? We never got a reply. I understand. I'm not being funny and like making it a bigger deal. I was told things, chat. Okay. I was told things by people that spoke to people at VidCon. I am a problem child to them, and that's okay. I just want to make sure you guys know I'm not blowing smoke up my reviewer ass, okay? If there's a proverbial blacklist, I might be on it. They can't ban me for being critical, but they sure as hell don't have to invite me to anything. Anyways, got my badge for VidCon very last minute. Now, I purposely did not do industry, which is what I tend to have done in the past to make sure I get access to the Hyatt. The Hyatt was not a thing this year. They actually moved the Hyatt, the Creator Hotel, which is normally at the Hyatt. That was at a different spot, and there was no Creator brand lounges at the Creator Hotel. VidCon took over the pool outdoor area is what it sounds like. And that was the only activation that was actually at the Creator Hotel. And it was a little more vibey. Some people did say they preferred it because they thought that the Hyatt was a bit too much. And again, there had a lot of more like foot traffic in the Hyatt previously and things like that. I talked about the Hyatt last year and how depressing it was because it felt hollowed out. It was $270 for the creator track, fairly last minute, and then service fee was $13 to $283 was my total for a 3-day pass, 19th through 21st that I ended up only using Saturday of. Cost of being nosy these days. And yes, I got it Wednesday the 18th. So very weird that I was able to get it the day that the event technically started. So they put registration in Hall E, which is way over there, but you can't enter the spot without your badge. Now I have to go all the way around the whole outdoor area. Fun. The actual space that they used of the convention center for VidCon this year was much smaller than it normally is. Normally they have food trucks. Normally there's people hanging out. Maybe there's people doing little meetups and things like that in this area near the fountain. The fountain's a big spot for photos. If anyone's cosplaying or getting photos or, you know, in cool costumes, whatever, cool merch designs. None of that was there this year. There was no one hanging out in this area. There was no food trucks. There was no nothing because this was not technically part of the VidCon this year, which just felt, again, very odd. That area outside the arena, there's previously been a stage there. They've tried putting it there a few times, gets more people filling out the space, utilizes the space a lot more, helps with crowding. That was not there this year. Like I said, there was nothing in this area. Walk into registration, there was no one in line for the registration for Creator Badge. Now I'm ready to speed run this event. I'm like fully ready to hit the ground running, see as much of this floor, as much of the venue, everything I possibly can in the span of one day. And then I didn't need to do that. I do think I saw everything that my badge could get me into in the span of 2 hours. I was there for 4. So here's the map, as it always is, and then the community track stuff. It's always on here. Thursday was a lot of industry stuff and then some creator track stuff. Hall of Fame ceremony. That was on Thursday. They did a whole Hall of Fame thing, which I have seen very little videos of, aside from a couple of videos and stories of creators having to like tell people to be respectful because they were being really weird. I've seen nothing of it. A few people have told me that the only videos they saw from VidCon were mine, from my one day being there. But that was like a huge deal. They were inducting a couple of creators into a Hall of Fame, which you'll see in my video. I did go by their Hall of Fame little setup where you can see some of the creators that they had inducted into the Hall of Fame. Say across the board, the biggest presence from a social media company that I witnessed was YouTube, which a lot of people prefer, especially if you're a creator like me that's a YouTuber. I create on all platforms, but I do identify as a YouTuber first and foremost. But I don't think it's a good sign for your event when social media platforms have previously considered your event the place to go to connect with new creators and existing creators and prop up their current high-performing creators and talk about those things when they are just straight up lacking from your event. I don't think that's a good sign for your event as far as what used to be considered the industry standard event for people in the creator economy, in the creator space that have, fans that they want to connect with and things like that. I don't think that's a good sign. YouTube was a big deal here. Even inside the exhibitor hall, they had another space that was the shorts like house where you could film shorts and stuff in there. Then the only other brand that I really saw in here was TikTok. They had a tiny little booth that was talking about a couple of different things like TikTok Shop and things like that. But to come from Cannes Lions, where TikTok took over the entirety of the courtyard of the Ritz-Carlton, to then come to VidCon and see this tiny little, not even 10 by 10 booth maybe, was interesting to say the least. Okay. I believe they did a party or a dinner or something other than that, but that's it. Meta, nowhere to be seen inside the event. What they did is they did a Disney night for featured creators, and they partnered with Disney. Disney did have a Disney Plus activation within the exhibitor hall. They often do. They did like a throwback Disney thing, which did look fun, and there was a big line for it. People looked to be enjoying it. But they did a Disney Meta night where they rented out Disney, it sounds like, and that's obviously a lot of money. But again, it's one of those things where I don't know how in partnership with VidCon you are when the thing that you are doing and sponsoring is off-site your venue. I know also in this video I am talking about Cannes Lions, an event where it is a feature of the fact that other brands are not exactly inside the venue of the Cannes Lions Festival and are instead a part of the event outside in Cannes. But I think that for Cannes Lions in particular, that brand element very much works in tandem with the actual festival. In that, me just simply buying a ticket to Cannes Lions, I am then immediately shown, here's the other things that are happening around Cannes that you can check out. Check these out, including everything happening with TikTok and the like, okay? Whereas these other parties and other events that are happening at VidCon, unless you are a featured creator, invited guest, or you know someone already at a brand that is inviting you personally, you don't get access to those things by buying a badge or becoming aware of those things even by buying a badge. And I think that in lies the main difference. There was a lot of brands that I spoke to that did parties and dinners and things like that off-site of VidCon, which again, a lot of creators come to town for VidCon, makes sense, okay? But it's not always a good sign when, again, they are deciding that your event is not where they want to put their money. They want to put it outside of your event so that they can get access to the people that are traveling there for your event. Does that make sense? You might be the thing that's getting them there, but like they don't want to work with you, to make it so that like they're synonymous with you in any capacity. So this is the creator track zone. So these are things that are meant for creators. So we got TikTok and the like there. I think this is TikTok's only booth. I'm going to keep walking though. There was a lot of good and a lot of bad in the exhibitor hall. I have been talking about a creator artist alley of some sort at VidCon for a few years now. We have a ton of artists on YouTube. We have a ton of artists on literally every single social media platform. You have a ton of artists that speak at VidCon. One of the biggest draws for your attendees is going to be the animation creators and all of that. So I think an artist alley is brilliant. Okay, so we got Simply Pop, we got the thing there, we got the lounge spot, we got some food spots inside, which is smart. And then Shop Spot is new. That is very smart. And a Maker's Alley? Okay, cool. Okay. I've been saying they've been needing an artist alley at VidCon for a few years now. So let's see what this looks like. I'm actually excited. Yay. They had a Maker's Alley kind of in another spot separated by curtains that was very, I don't know why you did the alley style. I don't know why you did the curtains. I get giving them a backdrop or something, but I didn't think that was necessary. It felt like they were kind of hidden away. And it was weird because I walked in there and I just thought people had left. And I was like, oh, okay. Like maybe they sold out. And because they had a bunch of tables in here that were artists that were selling things that they had made. And I saw 5 tables, I kid you not, empty with the names still up on the walls. Now it's super early in the morning. So I'm thinking maybe they just haven't set up for the day or maybe they left. So I go up to the table next to one of these tables and I'm like, did they leave? And she tells me 5 artists apparently did not show up ever. And so artists that were in this space move to better spots. So these 5 people did not just show up in this one clump. There were people that were listed that never showed up, but they just moved to better spots down at different ports of the aisle that would have more better foot traffic, because there was no real foot traffic in the spot where I was, okay? Okay, when this happens and people don't show up, remove the table, or at least take the signs down. Adjust the curtains. It looks weird and empty. Take the tables. This is something that no events do. When people don't show up, I get just leaving the table open because maybe people want to set down their stuff, move things around, allow booths to move around. Totally cool. That's fine and dandy. And take the tables out after it's been a day. It looks weird and empty. It looks like people abandoned your event. Take them out. For this area, for the table, it was $400. For a booth, it was $800, according to one of the vendors I spoke to. I did talk to my accountants, because my accountants, I have accountants that work with a lot of creators. They had a booth at VidCon.
When you find your accountants at VidCon and you had no idea they were going to be here.
Which straight up, I told them not to do that again. You guys have enough clients. You could do a dinner and we could each invite 2 or 3 prospective clients, and you guys would get it would be way more valuable for you guys than doing this. So we'll see if they agree with me next time, okay? But I found out that they spent $2,000 on their booth in the creator space for a backdrop space and a table. $2,000. If someone's a feature creator and they have a booth, that is typically thrown in with being a feature creator. You are given a 10 by 10 booth, if not larger, so long as you, I think, are selling something and then have someone manning the booth at all times, okay? That is something that they give to feature creators. You can also buy a booth and things like that, but mostly feature creators just utilize the booth that they are given, okay? I've heard numbers from certain creators. They have the ability to make a buckload of money doing this and selling their merch at these booths. I will say having a more clear-cut creator space, very necessary. There was a couple of different things in this area that were very clearly for creators on the exhibitor hall floor, something that I felt has been lacking the last couple of years. There's a few of the common ones like Blackmagic Design and things like that that have been there consistently, but for the most part, the creator clear-cut space on the exhibitor hall floor has been shrinking. So to see that expand, great. To see the shop area and the Maker's Alley exist, great. Okay, there are things that are good here, but overall it just felt immensely hollowed out. The lack of big names on the floor, Amazon Prime not being there, Prime Video. I don't think Spotify did anything. Obviously TikTok, Meta, Instagram not having a presence inside your venue. Very odd. Big stages out here. Saw a couple of my friends speaking and things like that. That's really it. Go upstairs to the creator floor. This was low-key depressing. I don't know how to fix this, other than getting more creators that are up-and-coming creators to go to VidCon. So on the creator floor, there was some good talks. I went and saw a few of them. Again, I saw a few of my friends talk. I got screenshots of a couple of the talk panels that were happening. Cracking the China code, how creators can tap into 1.5 billion person market, building influence into product, 2 sides of the coin, creator meets lawyer, 10x your personal brand, creative teams don't burn out by accident. They have the mentorship series, which is typically bigger creators coming in talking with smaller groups. I think you have to register for these prior. The creator lounge this time around was YouTube. YouTube has done the creator lounge a few years now. It was cool in here. I talked with a few people in the YouTube spot. That's where I got the YouTube pin. The 20-year pin. 20th anniversary, obviously, of YouTube, as I've said, VidCon YouTube. Doing a bunch of creator collective events, which I've done quite a few creator collective events, but they did a bunch for this weekend. And I RSVP'd for the Pride event because I'm bi. And it's Pride month. That'd be fun. But it was a brunch and it was at like 11. And I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to make it. Like the floor just opened. I have to speed run this. Like it's off site. It's at Anaheim Packing House, which is like 12 minutes away. And then I did the rest of the creator floor and I did one more lap of the exhibitor hall floor really quickly. And I was like, oh, I can leave. I'm bored. So I did go to my creator collective event. But first, when I was outside on my way to get my badge, I bumped into a viewer who told me a few things. One, he said that I could sneak up to the industry floor if I really wanted to with a creator badge. They don't care. Wasn't going to try that, but appreciate the note that apparently that's something that's been happening all week. And that the Creator RX Lounge was a scam. They had a big thing outside and basically you could come in and go to different stations that were designed like a hospital so they could try and diagnose what was wrong with your link in bio so you could try and make money with your link in bio as a creator. And then you could maybe get some coffee at the end because they had a little coffee spot. This was all just a sales pitch thing, which is why he was like, this is a scam. I thought about it, was like, I don't think I need more coffee because I have a pounding headache and I like my Beacon's link in bio. Did not feel like I missed anything. That's all that was up on the Creator Hall floor, that and 3 talks. So what they've done previously and what has been an issue is that they would put this floor right where the Creator Hall was, because it's 1 floor, 2nd floor, 3rd floor. I believe it was last year or the year before, they actually put the Creator Hall floor on the 3rd floor and not the 2nd floor. The 2nd floor has way larger rooms, and so it makes more sense to have the creator talks here, because if you're going to have big crowds, it's going to be the creator badge. And so having them on this floor makes more sense. What they would do is they would let you get off the escalators here if you were an industry badge. Otherwise, you would be pushed straight up to the 3rd floor for the creator badge. Smaller rooms, it was stupid. I don't know why they did that previously. This makes more sense. Having the industry badge, which again is going to have less badges on the top floor, makes the most sense. Glad they did that. Obviously, I didn't go up there, but still. Then I go to Pride Brunch. Had fun. But this is where I would say my jet lag decided to punch me in the face. Beat the shit out of me. It was like, haha, you're done. So I stayed here for a little while. Then I went back to VidCon, did another lap or 2 of the exhibitor hall floor, saw if any of my friends wanted to meet up. Most of them were either hungover, sleeping, or had panels, or hanging by the pool. And then I was like, okay, I'm done. And I went to go take a nap at my dad's house. In total, it was about 4 hours I was at VidCon, including the time I was away from VidCon at the Creator Collective. Do I think I saw everything? Yes. Do I think that I missed anything by leaving that early? No. You can have an issue with me all you want. That's fine. Overall, would I do this again as a creator? No. I said that last year too. But I'm nosy. And the thing is as well, is I do like seeing my friends. Most of my friends were at VidCon. Even though I didn't get a chance to see them before my jet lag decided to kidnap me. That's typically where they are. A lot of them are in town. I'll see a lot of them before they leave. And any creators that are like on the fence about VidCon as a featured creator or otherwise, or if they were denied featured creator and are trying to still go, it's usually because they want to see their friends. This is a very solitary industry. Most of our videos are filmed alone in our rooms. Okay. So an event where we can go and hang out with our friends from across the country or across the world is going to be an event a lot of people are going to prioritize in their calendar, which is why, again, a lot of people are going to be like, I had a blast, because they got to spend time with their friends, and that's okay. So let's talk about VidCon versus Cannes Lions from the creator perspective. Like I said, I had a creator badge for Cannes Lions. I had a creator badge for VidCon. Overall, it depends what you want. I am at a point in my career where I don't need VidCon. I do not need to be a speaker on a panel at VidCon. It's not going to do much for my career. Now, just because someone does a panel at VidCon does not mean they need it for their career. There's a variety of reasons that's why people want to do a panel at VidCon, okay? Or be involved in VidCon. There's a variety of reasons. My audience as a whole is around my age demographic. I am 27 years old. Most of my audience is about 18 to 35, up into the 45s. There's a few stragglers in there. Some of you are 60. I don't know what you get from me. A lot of you are nosy. Understandable. Most of my audience, I do not feel comfortable promoting VidCon to go to as an attendee just for the hopes of potentially meeting me. There's not enough there for them for me to feel like I am justifiably able to promote this event to my audience if I were to do a meet and greet or something like that. I am also someone, unlike a lot of creators, I do events like this at least once a month, if not 3 times a month. I bump into you guys, the viewers, all over the country and sometimes all over the world. And that's something that I am very fortunate to do. Therefore, I do not need something like VidCon for me to be able to meet my fans in that way. My viewers, my fans, whatever you would like to call yourselves. Okay. Gulkinators? No. There are a lot of creators that do not have those opportunities to meet their viewers or do not feel safe to meet their viewers outside of a scenario like VidCon, where there is security, where it is very safe and controlled, and at the very least, they have other friends around them to help them out if someone gets creepy or crazy. That is where VidCon is really going to be valuable for you as a creator, is meeting your viewers and that viewer connection in a safe environment. Hopefully. I have heard of a few different instances of things not being super safe, but that usually is the instance of a creator not wanting to escalate a situation and security just not being close enough, okay? Nothing dangerous from what I've been told, but it's things where it's just like, I don't want to make this awkward and there's not someone close enough to like help me diffuse the situation, things like that. Some people prefer VidCon in that regard. If your goal with doing an event between VidCon and Cannes Lions is just to meet your viewers, VidCon's going to be your choice, 100%. If all you want is to, get the perks of being a creator, whether it's a feature creator or anything like that, VidCon's going to be your choice. The parties, the fun stuff, even obviously not with the badge or anything like that, okay? But like to just go and hang out with viewers, hang out with other creators and things like that. In this environment in California, maybe go to a Disney day with other creators, bump into your fans at Disneyland or Downtown Disney, or bump into other creators at Downtown Disney and things like that. Get people being like, wait, you know them? That's going to be VidCon. But if you are a creator that is either trying to grow, trying to turn your creator hobby into a business, you are trying to make other connections in the industry. You want to talk with other people at brands. You want to talk with creators that are of different niches than you, that are bigger than you in different capacities, or have figured out other things differently, or you want to talk with big people high up at brands. Cannes Lions is your move. The amount of people I met high up at various creator social media platforms I didn't even consider as social media platforms, people high up at brands that I would like to work with, that I met, that I am now going to be connected with on LinkedIn at the very least. You want to have LinkedIn kind of blow smoke up your ass because they're trying to turn it into a creator platform, even though which is another really bad sign for the job market, frankly, that the job platform is turning into let's make content. Very bad sign, okay? But if you want that to happen, Cannes Lions is the move. If you want to go party with a bunch of marketing people that can put you in touch with people at different companies, if you want to go walk into a hotel for a TikTok thing and bump into literal Olympians, Cannes Lions is your move. Like, there was a lot of downsides of Cannes Lions as well. Obviously, if you saw my Cannes Lions videos, I talked about the fact that there was a lot of people that I met that were very annoyed that their billboard was speaking to them. That's me, I'm the billboard. I say creators and the new billboards. That was a lot of the experience that I was seeing. At the very least, for Cannes Lions versus VidCon, VidCon felt very hollowed out, whereas previously it is an event that I have loved and adored, and I've just seen drift into a shell of itself. I don't know who you think you are for. Cannes Lions is straight up an industry event in the same way that I've talked about Vid Summit being an industry event and being up on the, the goal of being the business side of the creator economy. That's Vid Summit. Cannes Lions is a lot of that in the same way, but from the marketing side of things. The creator economy is a huge element of marketing nowadays. We are a billion-dollar industry when it comes to market spend, market dollars being spent, and things of that nature. I'm not even just talking about like from the perspective of getting sponsorships and things like that. There are people that I met that are going to help me long-term, that are just a better investment of my time. Going to France was a better investment of my time as a full-time creator than going to VidCon would have been. And I'm from Southern California. I spent way more money going to France, 100%, but it was a better investment of my time at the stage of my career that I am at. And that is okay to admit. You're going to get pitched a bunch of shit about AI, but still, Cannes Lions is the move. If you want to connect with your audience, VidCon is probably still the move right now. But even they don't know who they are for. And at the end of the day, you have to be realistic about who your audience is. You as a creator need to make the decision for yourself and where your travel dollars, where your best time is spent when you could be at home making another video or making more content. That's something you have to check in with yourself as an independent media company and as a small business owner or a big business owner, depending on how you choose to look at your content. I'm a businesswoman. I have to look at my content accordingly. That being said, I will be at Cannes Lions next year. And if VidCon is still a thing next year, I will not be there. My nosiness is satiated. My friends can go have fun. I'll live. And that's really going to be it. Did you do VidCon? Did you see me at VidCon? But you were like, that's not swell. I was also wearing a face mask. So a few of you were like, messaged me later like, was that, you weren't there, right? You were just in France. That was me. Did you see me and you didn't say hi? Were you annoyed you missed me? Were you surprised I went at all? Let me know. Comment down below. Reminder, I stream on Twitch. My Swell Entertainment is now available on Spotify. If you'd like to see more car and motorsport content, you can go and check out Girly Pop Go, my other channel. Shout out to my channel members. If you'd also join my channel memberships, you can go ahead and click join down below. If you'd like to follow me on all social media, that'll be all up here. And that's going to have a lovely day. Goodbye. That was a weird wink. Oh, I didn't even talk about this. There was a booth for someone that was trying to start a content house, but it was like jet house, and it was like gonna be like on a jet, and the women that were running the booth like did not know how to talk to me because I was wearing a mask, and so I don't know if they thought I was a creator or a fan, and so they clearly were like, yeah, you can apply to be in the content house and travel around with this teenager, or you can, if you're a fan, you can apply to go with them. And I was like, what? It was very odd. I won't be doing that.